When was the last time you looked in the mirror and asked, "Am I truly living the life I want?" We live in a world built to distract us. Routines, expectations, and obligations from the moment we wake up. Work, family, social norms telling us how to behave, what to strive for, even what success should look like. Here's the truth most people avoid. Every time you prioritize others over yourself, you send a quiet message to your inner self that you don't matter. Your needs and your truth become secondary. Over time, something inside begins to protest. Carl Jung taught that our connection to the unconscious isn't optional, it's essential. And in solitude is where we learn to listen to it. By the end of this video, you'll notice a quieter mind, cleaner boundaries that hold without guilt, and a steadier sense of self you can lean on. And you'll stop fearing loneliness, you'll learn to embrace solitude as a space to grow and live more fully. Because solitude isn't punishment, it's preparation. Let's start by first understanding what loneliness truly is. Have you ever felt surrounded by people, yet somehow completely unseen? It's hard to explain because nothing seems wrong, but there's a quiet ache beneath it all, a soft emptiness you can't name. That quiet ache that visits when no one calls back, that ache when laughter fills a room that doesn't include you, that is loneliness. But beneath that ache, loneliness isn't just emptiness. This is the mind's cry for connection, not only with others, but with the parts of you you have stopped listening to. Carl Jung believed that our deepest suffering comes not by being alone, but being disconnected from meaning. He wrote that when we lose touch with the soul, we fall into aimless misery. This is because we are cut off from our inner life. Based on that, loneliness, then, is not proof that something's wrong with you. It's evidence that something within you is asking to be heard. And when you finally stop running from that silence, you notice something else begin to surface. This is why solitude often feels uncomfortable, because it removes the noise that hides what's unresolved. This creates a stillness, and why that rises in that stillness is what Jung called the shadow. This is the hidden side of us that carries our denied emotions, our fears, our guilt, and our unmet needs. He reminded us, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. So when loneliness stings, you're not being punished, you're being shown something. The question isn't how to escape loneliness, but what it's revealing. And what it's revealing are the parts that need healing. Ask yourself, what part of me is asking to be healed right now? Because when you dare to answer that question, something extraordinary happens. The answer appears only through attention. Jung believed that healing begins the moment the unconscious becomes conscious. This is because awareness itself is the medicine, and the only way to discover these parts that need healing is to notice what repeats, what drains you, what memories return when everything gets quiet. In solitude, you're not trying to fix these parts yet. You're learning to see them clearly, without judgment, without turning away. Because before you can work on yourself, you must first find yourself. And that discovery, whether you are uncomfortable, honest, and sacred, is where real healing begins. Once you've found these hidden parts, the question becomes, how do I work with them without being overwhelmed? That's the art of integration, turning awareness into wholeness. Awareness alone is powerful, but it's only the beginning. Because once you've met your hidden parts, they don't just disappear. They linger, asking to be understood. Carl Jung believed that the goal of healing isn't perfection, it's integration, bringing the light and the dark into dialogue, so the self becomes one whole being instead of fragments at war. He wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." Integration is how you stop living by fate and start living by choice. But what does that look like in practice? It begins when you stop judging the parts of you that hurt, the anxious part that needs reassurance, the angry part that never felt heard, the quiet part that's afraid to speak. Instead of pushing them away, you turn toward them with presence, like a parent listening to a scared child. You say, I see you, I know why you're here, and I'm not abandoning you. That's the moment the split begins to heal, not because the pain disappears, but because it's finally held. This is what Jung called holding the tension of the opposites, staying present between the light and dark without collapsing into either. It's the act of allowing contradiction until it transforms into wisdom, and slowly that wisdom changes how you live. You stop reacting from your wounds. You start responding from awareness. You set boundaries not from anger, but from clarity. You choose relationships that nourish, not just distract. This is the quiet power of integration. It doesn't shout or perform. It simply reorders your inner world until peace stops being something you chase and becomes something you are. And once you reach this place of inner steadiness, solitude no longer feels like separation. It becomes connection. That's where the power of choosing yourself truly unfolds. When you finally begin to live from that place of inner wholeness, everything changes quietly, then all at once. Carl Jung wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are, and choosing yourself is how that privilege is earned. Because when you choose yourself, you're not rejecting others. You're simply refusing to abandon your own truth. It's the moment you say, I will no longer shrink to fit, won't dim my voice to be accepted. I will love, help, and give, but not at the expense of my own soul." That's not selfishness. That's alignment. And the world responds to that alignment in mysterious ways. The right people start to appear. The wrong ones quietly fade. Meaningful coincidences begin to unfold, because your outer world begins to mirror the peace inside you. That is the true power of solitude. It teaches you to stand so firmly within your own presence that even when you walk alone, you never truly feel lonely, because solitude isn't the absence of connection, it's the presence of self. And once you touch that space, you realize something profound. Choosing yourself was never about isolation. It was preparation for the kind of peace that no one else can give and no one can take away. As we conclude, you began this journey feeling the ache of loneliness, but now you see that silence was never empty. It was full of everything you needed to remember. Carl Jung believed that the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely, but that acceptance, that quiet courage, is where real peace begins. Because when you choose yourself, you don't lose connection with the world. You find it on a deeper level. And that's the shift this entire journey leads to. Solitude gave you that gift, the space to meet yourself again. And once you do, you realize you were never truly alone.